My fiance's parents have a terrible marriage, and it's starting to affect my relationship with my fiance. To keep things short, my fiance's parents have only stayed together for her, and it's created many awkward situations. Whenever I'm alone with my fiance's mother, she vents to me about her husband and how he doesn't pay any bills, never kisses or shows any love. Once my girlfriend and I get my own place, she plans to divorce him. Stuff like this constantly is what she tells me. She then turns this into a burden by telling me not to tell my girlfriend any of this. Her father is very emotionally dependent on my girlfriend, and the other day we went out for dinner and I heard him in the other room say, "Why do you always go to dinner with such and such?" That being me. "But never go out with me." A similar situation happened after we finished watching a movie, and her father complained on how she never does this with him. He tends to get very jealous and has no issue making comments right in front of me. If we come back after getting food, the first thing he says to my girl is, "Oh, you didn't get me anything." If we ever go out or even leave for a day or two, once we come back, her father comes out and acts like he's never seen her before. He'll say stuff like, "Hey baby, haven't seen you in forever," and gives her this huge bear hug where she looks super uncomfortable. Maybe this is normal, I don't know. I wasn't treated this way, nor were my sisters, but it feels very uncomfortable for me. He treats her like how I'd imagine he should be treating his wife. I get very angry how he treats his wife like garbage and my adult girlfriend like a little girl. He tends to call us whenever we're out to dinner. He has my girlfriend's location and checks it religiously. He knows what he's doing. He also calls anytime we're late. He gets super upset when she doesn't answer and guilt trips her by saying, "What if I was having a heart attack? You're the first person I'd call if my fingers would let me do it." It's an extremely awkward situation and has been getting worse as my girlfriend is getting older, and her having to talk to him only helps temporarily. Her father has threatened to stop helping out with her bills. She's a full-time student in law school and can't get 100% support, and he threatens to do this if she ever doesn't answer her calls or takes off her location on her phone. He gets very controlling, and there's a lot he said that has just freaked her out. Recently, my girlfriend and I were planning another trip, and her mother began to invite herself on it again. She went on about how she really wants to travel, while her husband sat there in silence. He refused to travel with her, but has no issue traveling with my girlfriend and I. We let her come on a trip once, and we found out very quickly that we were not compatible to travel together, and she didn't want to do much with my girlfriend, and I did. It's a really sad situation because I wish she'd just go with her husband so we don't have to actually feel guilty by saying no that she can't come. Her parents often invite me over for dinner, and they've gotten too comfortable around me to have no issues arguing in front of us, being extremely rude and calling each other names. It's a really uncomfortable situation, and I'm not really sure if there's anything I could do, and my girlfriend doesn't really have any energy to get involved anymore as it's their relationship. Honestly, I just need help. Any advice would be welcomed. Honestly, the fact that the dad is being that financially abusive to his daughter and threatening to cut off any funds towards her going to law school simply because she doesn't answer phone calls or have her location on her phone turned on is kind of ridiculous. I mean, I can understand there being some kind of bargain or some kind of agreement between the two of them, but making uncomfortable advances at your daughter at the expense of your current marriage is really weird. I mean, she could, in all honesty, if this is such a problem, stop going to school, start working until she can get enough money to pay for it herself, and then go back to law school, but I mean, nobody really wants that. It also sounds like the original poster in this situation just needs to speak up and make their voice known. Honestly, staying silent and not saying anything about this, even just a voice of, "Hey, this is kind of awkward," is only going to do them a disservice moving forward. Like, imagine family get-togethers or any other kind of engagement where they're spending time together. This same behavior is going to come back, and it's going to be coming back quite often if nothing's done about it. A line in the sand needs to be made, and somebody's got to do it. At the end of the day, they're getting married and they're on the verge of starting their new life. And eventually, no one will be stalking them on their phone, and they won't have to answer calls if they don't want to.
The full version of this video is on the Am I the Jerk YouTube channel, so check the link in the description for it. And if there are any updates to this story, that's where they'll be. There is also a podcast version of this show on Spotify, Apple Music, or whatever you use. Just search Am I the Jerk. It's perfect for those of you guys that use Spotify or whatever platform you want to listen to podcasts while you're driving or on the bus or drawing or planning to take over the world. So go check out the Am I the Jerk and Am I the Genius podcasts on any of those platforms.